What's up, witches? It's me, Luna, and I am here doing a response to some of the questions that happened on my video yesterday about how to connect with your spirit guides. That was like a free form, and I knew there would be things that I left out, and I'm so glad that, pardon me, people have commented and asked questions, because now I can do a follow-up. So first of all, I want to talk about some things that I left out. Number one, pardon me, why do you want to connect with your guides in the first place? And the answer is they're already there. They're already helping you in whatever ways they can without you asking. And life, your magical life especially, can get so much easier. I've seen so many young witches that are just so very concerned with controlling every little thing. I've got to do this and it's like, put your guides on it, you guys. Let them work for you. I mean, one example is just the perfect parking space thing. Find me my perfect parking space and then let it go, trust it's going to be there, and bam, it's right up front. Or I love the thing, and you don't have to use the word angels, but angels go before me and make my way smooth. All right, you can do that when you're physically traveling in the car, or you're just starting anything, going about anything. Angels go before me and make my way smooth. So you're asking your guides to go in and filter out stuff that just doesn't pertain to you, and is noise, so that you don't end up, dealing with things that just are you don't have to deal with, aren't part of your karma, aren't part of, whatever. I mean, life's got a crap ton of that, and you can only get rid of so much, but why not let them get rid of the stuff that can be gotten rid of? You state your intention, please make my way smooth, and also make me aware of whatever I need to do to make my way smooth. So, I mean, think about it. You've got this team. So many, infinite number of ways you can work with them. In response to Katarina -NN6EN, she's from Sweden. And first of all, darling, your English is amazing, so please don't apologize. There are many sites that sell discount used books, but you're going to have to search for Sweden or who ships internationally. I did kind of do a thing, used booksellers that ship internationally, but didn't really come up with anything, and I think you're going to have to search from where you are. Pardon me. But if you are in the U.S. and you'd like to get a hold of this book, which is out of print, Companions in Spirit, there's 1 million copies. I've seen them everything from like $4 and $4 shipping to $11 and free shipping on Amazon. So there are many books, and at risk of giving you some dangerous information, which it's really dangerous information for me, here are used booksellers that I have used and been very, very satisfied with. Most of them are just kind of a warehouse for all these little used booksellers that have storefronts. And there's one that I use, and it'll show up this shop in Toledo that I've ordered from multiple times, but I order through these sites. A Libris is one. Abe Books is another. I'll maybe drop these, but I'm not editing. Thrift Books and Half Price Books. And don't forget eBay. So those are places you can look. Okay, back to questions. So, and I've never heard of Spirit Guides, Companions, and Mentors for Your Inner Journey. Hal, Zena Bennett, give it a try. Why not? There's so many books that all have valid opinions in them. This isn't the only book. It's just the one that I got, So, yeah, just look for whatever you can find. And, hey, ask your guides to put the right one in your path. See what happens, okay? So, Katarina's asking, I have a question about spirit guides. I've had connection with some kind of entities for 1.5 years now. And she talks about how sensitive she is in her body and that she sees little orbs of light. Okay, the orbs of light are significant. Converse with them. And, sometimes she was talking about seeing things out of the corner of your eye. That is a prime place in your peripheral vision. So your peripheral vision, you can put your hands back here and start moving forward, and the point at which you become aware of fingers moving here is, the edge of your peripheral vision. The reason that entities and kind of psychic vision shows up in that area is because it's a liminal space. I think I might have talked before about, maybe I haven't, but just with like spirits and ghosts and visitations and things like that, there's a reason why people so often see ghosts on stairways. Sorry, I'm fiddling with my clothes. It's one of those days. I'm autistic. I can't help it. Anyway, there's a reason that they show up on places like that, hallways, and it's because if a place is in between, or a time is in between, dawn, dusk, when it's not day, not night, but things are changing over. Stairway is not the upper floor, it's not the lower floor, it's in between. A hallway is not this room or that room, it's in between. So those in between places and times is where the veil thins and it becomes easier for them to get through. Okay, whether they're just communicating through or showing up or whatever, it's easier. So pay attention to the things that you see in your peripheral vision. All right, they're taking advantage of that in-between space to get through to you. So pay attention to those lights. Talk back to them. Say that you see the blue light when you feel anxious or sad. Talk to that blue light and thank you so much for being there. I acknowledge that you're there for me. And I do appreciate that you... All right, so she says, since I can only feel in my body, the conversation is super limited. So she hasn't developed other clairs yet. I can only ask questions with a yes/no answer by asking to be touched on different parts of my body. So my suggestion here is to get to work developing those other things. Get to work doing some meditation. And I did answer someone with a question about the recordings that I mentioned. Shakti, Gawain, creative visualization. I will list those in the description, and I'll tag the people that I'm responding to. And I got it as a cassette tape first in the 80s, but you can get it on iTunes. You can, get it as a digital download on any number of platforms, I'm sure. Kelly Howell, you can get her recordings on YouTube. Just go, Google Kelly Howell, Howell, and you will find her channel and all kinds of recordings. And one of the ones I mentioned, Retrieve Your Destiny, is on there. With Kelly Howell's recordings, it is a binaural beat technology that drops your brain into certain frequencies, and you need headphones. You need stereo headphones in order for it to work. So if you use a recording like that, that's just music and theta, it's going to drop your brain into that trance state, then things might be a little more easily accessible to you. But you also could work on giving your guides another tool to use to communicate with you rather than your physical body. What about, I'm going to use, some people use the Bible, but I'm going to use, this particular spiritual book that I like. And I need a message about blah, blah, blah. Please send me a message. Please use this tool. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to hold the book. When I feel ready, or maybe when you tap me, I'm going to open the book to a random page and read. That's giving them something they can use. There are apps available for your phone that will allow spirit communication. You can use one of those, any kind of a random word generator. How about cards? How about an oracle deck or a tarot deck? Here's something you can use to speak to me. But it's, going through the efforts, and really, when your guides watch you working hard to try to communicate and give them something to use, they're going to work as hard as you, if not harder, to make that happen, right? Okay, now, you've also mentioned, and guides, talking about your guides helping with healing, and that's such a wonderful thing. So gratitude. I know you're there. I'm working hard to try to perceive you better. Help me in that. Help me perceive you better. Put something in my path that's going to make it easier for us to communicate, for you to communicate to me, right? So get them active in figuring it out. Let's see. Said they've never ever hurt me. Talking about humor. Now, here's something you say. I ask, are you a blank, to try to come up with all types of entities I can think of. Some have said yes to if they were a demon, but I've also noticed some try to joke with me, probably because I have trust issues, which I've told them. So I try to tell them they have to be serious. Now, I'm so glad you said this. One of the hallmarks of your genuine guides is humor. They will be humorous with you. It's a red flag if something is too serious, or if you feel like, I can't do, no. When you're talking about high spirituality, humor is there, absolutely there. My story about peekaboo jazz, and then when I went and did a hypnosis session with a different hypnotherapist, because I always do, my own self-hypnosis. But I went to this guy, and at the end of the reading, it was a past life regression. He took me up to this high level, and, I was going to meet somebody there. And I met one of my guides, who, literally decades later, gave me his name as Kieran, but he's the horned god. So I'm sure he's not only my personal guide. But he was there, and he was walking next to me, and he showed me, you see this path? You try to go, or no, what was it? Oh, he was talking about wandering from the path and not wandering too far. Everybody wanders from the path, but you go off a little bit this way and then you come back, and maybe this way a little bit and then you come back. Just to be easier on myself. And he literally elbowed me in the ribs and said, you don't got to be so serious, hon. So there you go. Humor is a hallmark of your genuine guides. So if they're trying to joke with you, embrace it. Okay. Now the word demon, it's slippery, because Daemon is also a name that just used to be used for spiritual entities, neutral. It's been demonized in more recent centuries, I guess. So names can be slippery. I think the vibe and the feel of it is going to be, key. But also just that you do your part to give them as many ways to communicate with you as possible. And also, I cannot emphasize this enough. With any magical working, whether you're just doing spell work or whether you're working to connect with your guides, meditation is key. You've got to be able to get your brain out of this mundanery, left brain chatterboxy stuff. You've got to be able to step away from that and approach that liminal space, right, in order to be receptive to them. Now, it also depends. There are some people, that are just frickin' antennas, and they go throughout their entire day entirely open and receptive. And then they're working to get shields and, make it so they're not picking up everything. When you want to increase your sensitivity, meditation, and if you want to decrease it, meditation is also the key there. In my mind, any kind of spiritual growth at all, any type of personal evolution, enlightenment, magic, anything that you're trying to do, meditation is key. The ability to alter this, to reprogram this, is the bottom line of everything, in my estimation. Okay, so yes, and I do understand trust issues, and that's something you're going to have to work on yourself. Possibly therapy. Go to therapy, grieve the losses, grieve the insults that you've suffered, and then And starting with your guides is a wonderful place to learn how to trust. It really is. Because if they're your true guides, they wouldn't be your true guides unless you could trust them 100%. Okay, now there's, okay, Blue Sky responded. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I'm glad it answered your questions. Let me see what else. D.M.3133 says, thank you for this video. Too, I'm trying to reach my guides. I've been hoping with the eclipse maybe my vibration will be higher and I might see, feel, or hear from them. As far as the eclipse goes, everything depends on where it's going off in your chart. I mean, it is certainly going to be a moment, not just because of the eclipse itself and its own energy, but also because so many people are focused on it. When lots of brains on this planet are focused on something and generating energy and intention around it, it increases the energy of the thing that's already happening. So there's going to be plenty of energy available. Take advantage of it. But I would also suggest to you, get a Kelly Howell thing with Theta. Get yourself into that liminal space. So there are times and events that happen that are by nature of a higher vibrational quality, and so it's easier, but it's your job to raise your vibration. You know, you can take advantage of those events. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's wonderful. Full moons, new moons, solstices, equinoxes, cross quarters, all of those things make it easier. And in between, it's your job to raise your vibration. How do you do that? Spiritual practice, meditation, prayer, mantra, dance, anything that puts you in an ecstatic state, anything that gets you, that can, drop that mind-body barrier that we have, and mind-body spirit that invokes spirit, any practice you have like that. And I want to caution you against looking for instant results. The stories that I told seemed like, oh yeah, as soon as I asked, they were there. Well, they were already there. I was already aware of them from the time I was a child, by the time I got around to asking, right? If you're going to do, I will make you a promise. If you guys get something like Shakti Gawain's creative visualization, or Kelly Howell's, it doesn't matter whether you do a guided imagery or you just do the sound and the technology with the headphones. If you do that for bare minimum 2 weeks, every single day, bare minimum 2 weeks. But pay attention when you get to the 4 to 6 week spot, because I guarantee you by then you're going to see some changes happening. I guarantee you, I promise you, and I want to hear about them. I want to hear about them. So, and DM also says it never crossed their mind until they saw in my video that one of them might be an animal. And let's put it this way, one of them might appear as an animal. They can appear however they want to appear. All right? So, let me see, was that the end? And then Marcy, my sweet Marcy, said that they have a tarot group, and they get together, they're professional readers, they get together to discuss the readings that they offer to their customers, and reviewed cards that were difficult. What a wonderful support group that is. At the end of one stream, somebody asked how she could connect with our guides, and then boom, my video dropped. So they're at work. And that's also evidence. Marcy is one of the ones that is a regular when I do have live streams. And we do our meditation in the beginning where we put our sphere around each of us individually for our protection. And then we take a layer of that sphere and push it out so it connects with all the others, and it makes this wonderful network. And that network is always at work. We have established an energetic connection, and it works. So I invite you to do these things. I think the bottom line with your guides is just get to work and be diligent. If you stay with it, if you make the effort, I guarantee you're going to see some things happen, or you're going to sense, or whatever your thing is. you're going to perceive something that's happening. You will have some synchronicities pop and, some wonderful things. All right. I hope that answered those particular questions. Is there anything else? No, I think that was all. If there are any more questions, please put them down below. I will link the first video in the description of this one if you haven't watched it. And I like this. I like being able to just answer questions. It's a great dialogue. They're easy videos for me to do. All right. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you soon. Till then, this is Luna. Mwah! Blessed be.